world seems like it's literally falling apart. We're on the cusp of World War III, high inflation. We've learned now that our governments have, in fact, as we suspected, been lying to us for many decades. It seems like we have limited to no voice in our actual government systems. Things look pretty bleak, which is surprising because actually I've never been more optimistic about the future. I can't believe that. How could I possibly be so optimistic considering all these factors? Is that we're going through literally the greatest transformation humanity's ever seen. Maybe this planet has ever seen, although we don't really know the full history of this planet, do we? What we're seeing now in the world is destabilization. It's destabilization of the old legacy systems. What that means is we're seeing huge disruption. We're seeing huge disruption across every sector of society. Finally, the information age is paying off. Now, you and me talking to each other, we don't need some third-party government getting in the way, telling us what to think. We don't need to send our congresspeople on a car, on a horse to Congress, right, to represent us. We can literally learn all that we need to know. We have access to more information at our fingertips than the president did just 20 years ago. It's not going to be easy, but we are going to transform one way or another. It's either going to be, we're going to turn into an amazing utopian society, or it is going to crash and burn and then turn in, hopefully, to an amazing utopian society. So I'll show you here why I'm so excited about it. You can see it very clearly. It is so clear. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. I think after this video, you'll have a better understanding of what's going on. Why is it so disordered? Why does everything seem like it's happening at the same time? And where are we going? It actually looks like there is a clear direction where we're going. A lot of information in this video. Stay to the end. I'll even tell you what I think the actual UAP, what the phenomena is. And yes, it is related to this. Thanks for being here. Let's get to the video.
Chris Lado, welcome to Lado Files.
Okay, this is Tony Seba. He is a legendary predictor, right? So he predicted back in 2014 with this clean disruption, with his book, he projected the cost of an electric vehicle down to the dollar. I mean, down to the dollar, years ahead of time. Years ahead of time. Look at that. He predicted to 2022 back in 2014, just based on this cost curve. Based on the cost curve. That's it. Now he's a genius, right? Multimillionaire. Definitely multimillionaire from his investments, because if you know the future, pretty easy to pick the right companies, isn't it? Welcome to the Great Transformation, inspired by Tony Seba's vision. We're at a pivotal point in history where exponential technologies are reshaping our world. Exponential technologies, nothing is linear. Today, we delve into the profound shifts in transportation, energy, food, and the newly added dimensions of AI and communication. Tony's main point is this is a phase change transformation, meaning it's not a one-to-one substitution. This means that the caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. A butterfly is not a caterpillar that can fly. It is a completely new entity, right? A new thing, but it's from the same being, right? Pretty insane that a caterpillar can change into this butterfly. But that's what it feels like, is our system, our entire global system is transforming into something new. This is a phase change transformation, meaning it will be something different from the previous system, something completely different. And how do these all take place? Is through an S curve. This is an S curve, okay? It builds up slowly till no one really knows. These are the early adopters. And then once it hits around 10% market penetration normally, then it accelerates, okay? It accelerates very quickly. Think of the iPhone. iPhone came out 2007. You thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid. Why would I need that? I can call. And then all of a sudden, boom, I have to get an iPhone. And now everyone has a smartphone. Everyone you know has a smartphone. There's still maybe one or two people. Maybe you know someone that doesn't have a smartphone, but that is by far the exception. If you look back in history, it is never a linear change. And it's not a one-to-one substitution. Basically, we're going to get something completely new if we can pass through this filter. I honestly believe this is part of the great filter. This could be the most important video that I actually make. Please do not sleep on this. This could be the most important video. Tony Seba has all this information on his YouTube site, link in the description, or he has free books you can download. It's all for free. essentially, just getting this information out there. I think he has enough money. Okay, this is actually how technology is adopted, not on how we make up stuff, how it's adopted. This is actually how it's adopted, right? Past performance does give you an indication of future performance, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Okay, so if we look back in history, every technology was an S curve. Like I mentioned, it starts out slow, starts out slow. What is this? This is air travel. Okay, starts out slow, kind of scary, kind of scary. Oh, I can get anywhere I want faster than anyone else around the world. Boom. Now everyone flies. I mean, look at that. Okay, it started in the late 40s, and by the mid 80s, everyone's doing it. What is this straight up? Let me guess. The TV. There you go. That's the TV. Okay, because before the TV, nobody really thought they'd want a TV, right? Elon Musk says they famously polled anyone who wants a TV. Prior to the invention of the TV, everyone, it was 98% said no, they don't want a TV. And miraculously, everyone does want a TV. Oh, look at that. Everyone does want a TV. What you'll also notice is it's getting faster, right? As we get more integrated, more digitized, the S curves are getting steeper and steeper, right? Look at the smartphone. Look at the smartphone. Boom. It's like a straight line. Okay, there was a buildup here, 2007, 2008, boom, straight line, boom, straight line, boom, straight line. Why? We're digitizing. This is digitizing. Tech adoption is always in an S curve and it's always accelerating. There's none of this BS, oh, we're going to just be in our current crappy state. No, you're gone. That's why you haven't seen Motorola. That's why Nokia is not around. Apple and Google were not even in the phone market. Think about that. They weren't cell phone makers and they were the leaders. This is the same thing. Tesla was not a car maker. Tesla was not a car maker, and it's immediately now the front runner. When these technologies are converging, what you see is a domino effect. Okay, once they converge, the cell phone needed all of the other technologies. It needed all of the communication, the storage, the visual, the touchscreen to be in a price that could be afforded by average people, around $600. And then it went and it changed. And now the smartphone has changed our world. And the exact same thing is happening right now with electric vehicles. Okay, and I get a lot of negative comments, and that's one reason I'm making this video is just how many people don't understand what's happening and don't realize that this really is better. It's way better. This is progress. Okay, so what we're seeing right now, if you can look here, this is from New Automotive Carbon Tracker. This is new sales in the UK. New sales of vehicles in the UK. So you have internal combustion engine, ICE vehicles, right, descending, and then you have battery electric vehicles. Battery electric vehicles is really the digitization of the car, digitization of the car. And look at this. You can just plot this graph. This is a regression curve off real data. This is the real data. And even here, these guys can't get it right because look at this. You see how this line isn't accelerating? It's just like they always just extrapolate from where we are currently. Like, okay, yeah, electric vehicles, they're just going to keep going like this in the same cell, and then it's going to slow down. No, I just showed you, okay? Electric vehicles are going to go like this. We're going to be at 80% coverage by maybe even 2026, 27, at least based off of this, mid 2027, even based off of these, we'll be at 80% new market sales of vehicles is going to be electric vehicles. I mean, think about that. That's amazing. And what is happening now? You're going to see the exact opposite. How does technology decline? How does it die? It dies also in an S curve. So you're going to see opposite S curves. This is going to come down like this, and this is going to go up like this. Even I believe faster than what we're seeing right now. It doesn't take a genius to see why this is changing. Okay, go and turn on your vehicle, your internal combustion engine vehicle, and sit in your garage with it. Okay, you will die. You will die. Like I can't. It's toxic. And what happens if you have an electric vehicle in your garage? Nothing. Because it puts nothing into the air. And you don't have to keep mining the earth to keep pumping chemicals in it that you're going to burn in a much more complicated way. It's just difficult to argue this. So I'm just not going to argue it anymore. Okay. If you can't understand that electric vehicles are markedly orders of magnitude better than gas vehicles, it actually doesn't matter what you think because the future is already here. And I'll show you why. This is your battery cost. Battery is the most expensive part of any electric vehicle, which by the way has magnitude of order less parts. Magnitude order less parts. Okay, so this is 2010, again from Tony Seba. This is where he made all his fame and money. He predicted an 87% decline in battery costs by 2020. Okay, and even better is in the next 7 years from that number, he predicts another 80% decline. So if you combine 87% and then from that number you combine 80%, you're looking at a, what is it, 98% decrease, 97% decrease in prices of batteries. And what has happened in that same instance? The capability of the batteries has improved, Why is this? And why? Again, you don't have to be a genius. Like, just use some part of your brains. Like, I honestly feel like I'm on crazy pills most of the time living in this world. But here we go. Most lithium-ion batteries are 95% efficient. 95% efficient or more. Okay? So let's look at the efficiency of an ICE engine. The absolute best that a gas turbine generator can do after 100 years of innovation is 65%. Basically, we've just started with batteries and we're at 95% efficiency. And now the best gas generator, how complicated it has to be, right? It has waste heat, it's capturing waste heat from the combined steam generator, combined cycle configuration. So this is all what is required to get to 65% by the early 2020s. And now with AI coming online, Elon Musk says in his last New York Times interview that we are less than 3 years from AGI, meaning we're less than 3 years from superintelligence on this planet. Less than 3 years. That means it could happen at any minute. And he doesn't expect it to go longer than 3 years. So we are at superintelligence. So my question is, do you think cars will be able to drive themselves in the next year? The answer is yes. Tony shows that by 2030, 95% of all passenger miles are going to be transportation as a service through electric autonomous vehicles. Why? Cost, value, greener. They're better in every way. And this is why. Okay, this is why you're going to get rid of your gas vehicle. You're not going to go to the airport to fly to nearby cities. Okay, you're going to get door-to-door autonomous transportation in a clean electric vehicle. Why? Because it's going to cost 1/4 the price. Right? Ready for this? 1/4 the price than the gas that it would take to get there. 1/4 the price. How could this be possible? This can't be possible, right? This is why people can't believe the numbers, but it is possible. For instance, how could this be possible? Watch this. This is a Porsche 911. Porsche 911, a sports car. The best engineers from Germany, from the world, are designing this car to be fast, as fast and maneuverable as possible. It only fits 2 people. There is no back seat. No back seat. It is only designed to be fast. It is a sports car up against the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck. I mean, I love this thing, man, so much. The Cybertruck, okay, weighs 6,500 pounds, is the same size, roughly equivalent, as an F-150 truck. Okay, F-150 truck. How is that possible? And as we watch, it's not just beating it, it is towing a 911, towing a sports car, a German sports car, and beats it. How is that possible? Look at that. It's towing a 911 faster than a 911 can drive itself. This is the phase change transformation. That is not the same thing. This is a new thing. It's a new system. It's new. It's the convergence of many different types of technologies. It's been digitized. It's better. It's newer. Why would you buy a sports car? Roughly the same price. These are roughly the same price. Cybertruck is around the same price as a Porsche 911. You could go as fast as a Porsche 911, and you'd have back seats and a truck, and you could tow stuff. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And people laugh at the Cybertruck. You guys have no idea what's coming with the Cybertruck. It has 48-volt internal. It has the first drive-by-wire. F-16 was the first drive-by plane. Guess what happened now? Every plane is drive-by-wire because it is better. It's better. The steering column doesn't go right through your neck when you get in a crash. There's no steering column. It's better in every single way. Every single way. So this is the phase change transformation. We can't believe it, right? Could you believe that an F-150 could beat a 911? A production vehicle, truck, could beat one of the best German sports cars. Okay, this is a transformation. This is something different. And this is hitting at every level. Right now, this is across our whole society. Our whole society is undergoing this type of shift. And the question is, what is going to happen? Okay, part 3 is the energy paradigm. Behold the rise of solar and wind energy, driving us toward a future of clean, inexhaustible power. And this is a near-term future, by the way. The falling costs and improved efficiencies of these technologies are making them the foremost solution for our energy needs, all of our energy needs. We don't need anything else besides solar, wind, and batteries. This is all we need. It's free from the sun. Once you build it, it's passive. It's solar passive. And this is probably the only graph you need to look at when we talk about the future of solar, wind, and batteries. And like I showed you before, the cost of batteries declining rapidly. This is the cost of solar. Solar is now the cheapest source of energy ever, ever. The unsubsidized cost of solar is cheaper than the subsidized cost of ice, nuclear, everything else. It is cheaper. And guess what? Prices are still going to decline. We're only at 50% efficiency for these solar cells, meaning it's just going to continue increasing. It's going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And now it is literally cheaper to buy, install, and run a complete SWB system, solar, wind, and battery system, than it is just to run a coal or diesel generator. What does that mean? They're going to crash. You can sell that land, stop the operating costs, meaning it's cheaper to buy, run, and own a complete SWB system and more efficient and cleaner than it is just for the operating costs of your current reactors. Think about that. How could this be possible? How? Just can't believe it. Well, how can a Cybertruck pull a 911 faster than a 911 can go? It's a breakthrough. It's transformation. This is what it is. And I'll show you it's simple. Here's the simple reason why you cannot beat solar power. It's simple. Here it is, guys. Pretty simple. The reason is, for the first time in history, humanity has a passive, non-mechanical system. The only way to get the energy out of fuel, fossil fuels that we know, is burning it through a combustion process. This means you have all of that waste he had already mentioned. The best we can get to, the absolute best, is 65%, right? And we're already at 95%, over 95% efficiency for batteries. So we know the storage system is better, right? But in order to actually use the energy now, in order to use the energy from our fuel, we have to go put it through this complicated combustion process with, like I mentioned already, toxic outputs and mechanical systems, okay? Mechanical systems, moving parts. Look how many moving parts are in this diesel generator. And now, for the first time in human history that I know about, we get free energy from the sun in a passive, non-moving system. There's no moving parts. Look at this. The sun hits the semiconductor. All we need is some semiconducting material in a circuit. It frees up. We still don't understand the process of how a photon turns into an electron or how it generates that electricity, but let's just assume that we understand. Either way, it frees up a hole in an electron. The electron goes out, does work, and then comes back. Okay, it comes back. This is how it creates a circuit. Because we are running on nuclear power. Okay, that thing that you can't even look at because it burned your eyes, turns out it has a lot of power. Everything else does fine using just sun energy. Okay, I think we can do the same. And turns out we can. All the technology is here. It's already here. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper than anything else. Why? Here, new technology. This is a passive system. Okay, totally passive system. Once you build it, you don't have to keep digging stuff up out of the ground and burning it and worrying about the waste products in the air. And then somehow telling everybody that it's not bad for you. That somehow all these toxic gases that we're putting out in the air and breathing, somehow they can justify this. Okay, these are our two options, right? This is our current power generation, mainly, is you have to mine the raw materials, bring it, and then burn it. Okay, and those raw materials, the energy is being expelled, but so is the waste products. These toxic gases, okay, maybe not these, but there are toxic gases that we have proven time and time again are increasing to climate change, okay? Here is the current future, the near-term future. Look at this, it's beautiful. There's nothing going into the air. You don't have to keep digging up the environment and bringing shit here. It is getting free energy from the giant nuclear reactor in the sun. The thing that you can't look at it or will burn your eyes. Better put that cream on your skin or it'll burn you. And we're just in this energy deficit. Man, if we could only get enough energy. We have enough energy right here, right now, and it is super cheap. Okay, look at these. No moving parts. No moving parts. Yeah, here you do have mechanical energy, right? Mechanical energy. Otherwise, no moving parts. Once this is built, you don't need to build another one. Once you have the actual infrastructure built, you're done. You're done. We could put the investment in and then just sit back and have free energy, which is what is going to happen, okay, unless something derails it. But that's what's going to happen. We're going to have free energy very soon. In my discussion with Richard Dolan from last Friday, I took a lot of heat from people saying, oh, it's these wildly numbers. I come here for one reason. What did I say? I said Australia is almost reaching 100% of its renewable goals, meaning it could power its whole country with 100% renewable energy. Okay, so that is not true. That was wrong. Okay, where are we at? We're only at 50%. They said 38%, right? But we'll show here they have huge, huge projects in the works. So look at this. At one point in September, nearly 100% of Eastern Australia's demand could have been met by renewables, says energy operator EMO. So this, all those people that say we can't meet our demand with renewables just have no clue. They are morons and have not looked into this. Okay, we can easily meet all of our energy needs with renewables. And it really helps if you don't have to carry around that fuel, right? How much of our transportation costs, how much of our energy costs is just transporting this stupid chemical around. All these stupid chemicals. If you look at our huge inflation that happened with COVID, why was the inflation? Why was it so high? Because all of our transportation costs for our global system skyrocketed. Why did they skyrocket? Because we're burning gas in a stupid, moronic way. Okay, we don't have to, and it's changing. So it's going to change. So here, renewable energy supplied nearly 40% of average demand across the electricity market in the September quarter. Look at that, 40% of average demand in all of Australia. That's average demand. Okay, and that has changed rapidly. What did I show you about the S curve? Meaning we're going to have well over 50% next year, well over. And I'll show you here that have, again, huge, huge upgrades. And for those people saying it doesn't make a difference on the Earth, you're just so... Total carbon emissions from the power sector, Australia's biggest single source, were down 11% on a year ago. So 11% reduction. Surprise. And what is happening here? Sunny skies as rain clouds disappeared contributed to an abundance of solar output, an abundance, which we will easily have, driving prices on the wholesale spot market negative 19% of the time. Look at this. Wholesale power prices in that area averaged $63 per megawatt hour, down 41% on the previous 3 months and 71% lower than a year earlier. 71%. I wonder if the electric vehicle and electric energy generation markets will increase. 71% reduction. Where is that anywhere else? When's the last time you heard diesel drop by 71%? Never. Okay, but we're going to see this. It is going to decrease to an amazingly low level, essentially free. So Australia, why do I mention Australia? I have viewers from Australia. Thank you for viewing. Secondly, Australia is a very small country, so 26 million people. It's smaller than California at 35 million. So Australia has the ability to rapidly change, right? Through policies, through upgrades. And if you notice, Australia recently almost burned to the ground, lost millions of acres, many animals, millions of animals. And so there is a mental shift there where now they can actually see it. They can see it in real time. And what you're going to see is a rapid change. Okay, look, this is solar, right? Photovoltaic cell, meaning comes from the sun, passive. Look at that growth, okay? And look here, okay? This is megawatts. Q3 year-on-year change to over 500 megawatts installed in Q3 of 2023 versus 2022. Look at this, 1.7 gigawatts.
To generate the 1.21 gigawatts of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott! What the hell is a gigawatt?
New renewable plants were progressing through registration, right? With a further 10 gigawatts of plants finalizing contracts under construction. That's basically what it takes to go back in time, and we will go future in time with 10 gigawatts. Okay, that is 20 times. 20 times the amount of PV that was installed in the third quarter. 20 times. Okay, do you think photovoltaic, do you think solar is going to be a viable part of the future? Yes. The answer is yes. It's like, so this isn't just an upgrade or an update. Okay, this is literally an energy renaissance, meaning energy is going to be free. We're going to have a superabundance of energy. I know this is amazing to think and unbelievable, and you couldn't imagine this, but can you imagine a production pickup truck beating a sports car? Beating a sports car. No, but that's what happened. This is the great transformation. Okay, part 4 is transforming food production. That'll be probably the biggest thing we notice right away, but it really comes down to this technology called precision fermentation. Precision fermentation. I heard about this almost 2 years ago on the All In podcast. I'll give the All In podcast a little more respect when they actually consider the UAP problem. They haven't even brought it up. They're just skirting around it like wusses. But 2 years ago, they mentioned on All In podcast that there's going to be this coming transformation in the way we actually make all of our materials. What is this going to come from? Large vats. You're going to have basically bio vats that are going to be able to create whatever we want, whatever molecules that we want. I was curious when it would come around, when we'd see it, and it is happening now. So here it is, precision fermentation of proteins, and they can make any molecule, right? They will be able to make any molecule. But let's just talk about animal proteins because we get a lot of animal proteins. Okay, this started back. Precision fermentation started with insulin back in the 80s. So insulin was very, very expensive. You had to get it just from animal pancreases. So it took 50,000 animals killed, essentially cows killed, to create a few pounds of insulin. It was very expensive, okay? Still very expensive, but much cheaper than killing 50,000 cows after raising them, etc. Okay, so that is the price. What we're seeing now is just like everything else, we're seeing a cost decline. So the cost decline, what happened next? Cost competitive with enzymes and scarce proteins. Okay, look at that. Now we can produce these. Cost competitive with cosmetics and some materials. Okay, because drugs is already over. Drugs is over. We can make drugs with molecules, with bacteria, little bacteria, microbes essentially, that we've genetically engineered. But now it's cost competitive with cosmetics and some materials. So now think of, they can make spider silk, all these additional materials. And what we will see very soon happening right now is cost competitive with food, cost competitive with food. And this really is going to change the world. Okay, imagine the dairy industry just disappearing. Dairy industry disappearing. Tony Seba says this is going to happen by 2030 because right now you can actually print using molecules. All you need is sugar, the genetically engineered molecule, water, and a vat, and you can create whatever you want. The whole Canadian dairy farm industry will be gone and replaced by only 344 acres of facilities. That is mind blowing to me. That is just mind blowing. If you imagine 344 acres, that is nothing compared to the thousands and millions of acres required for dairy cows and the terrible life that these dairy cows live. But what we can see right now, why is this happening? Because of breakthrough innovative technology. And how is it going to happen? You're going to hear nothing about it right away. Right now we're hearing, oh, Impossible Burger. I heard something about Impossible Burger, but now you're going to start seeing Impossible quesadillas, Impossible nacho chips, Impossible protein powder drinks. And you know what? They're going to be 1/10 the price. 1/10 the price. Why? Because your cost declines are going to continue. Animals are going to increase in price, right? But your cost declines of these microbes is going to keep continuing below. And what it is, it's so much better for the world because we don't need all that land for animals and we don't need to torture these animals. Instead, we're going to torture little microbes. And if you think about it, basically, we've enslaved the cow, right? The cow we've already enslaved to use its mechanical, biological engineering to create what we want. Now what we're doing is we're just pushing that level down. And now we've actually enslaved, if you will, the microbes. We've enslaved the microbes at the microbial level. And now we can genetically engineer them to create exactly what we want. And this is what's going to happen and is disrupting everything. It will disrupt everything. And it's going to be powered by You guessed it. Everything, every one of these things, every one of these innovations is going to be accelerated by AI. And look at this. AI is even faster than all the others. The S curve of AI is just insane. It is ridiculous. Look at this. So Tony Seba says, year 2000, the world's first teraflops computer. Guess where it was? Sandia National Labs. I'm sure used for good. Here it is, Sandia National Labs, giant size of an entire room. And it cost $46 million. Okay, $46 million, power consumption, etc. Fast forward to today. This is the CEO of NVIDIA. Now we have a dual drive GPU platform. He can hold it. He's holding it in his hand. Look at that. 8 teraflops. It's 8 times. And it uses 1/3 of the actual power. 1/3 of the power, 8 times. So it's 8 times more powerful, 3,400 times less power. And it costs $600. How is that possible? How could that be possible? Right? How could we get all of our energy from the sun? Just can't imagine. How could we have these innovative breakthroughs? How could a truck go faster than a sports car? This is how. Innovative, digital, technological improvements. Once it reaches 1/10 the cost, it is going to happen. Tony says that AI is actually improving at double the speed of everything else because the software of AI is improving on an S curve, a straight up S curve, and the hardware is improving on a straight up S curve. That means AI is even faster than everything else. And AI is improving all of these other systems, meaning it is just going to accelerate it even further through what will be a great transformation. As Tony says here at the end, we are experiencing the fastest, deepest, most consequential transformation of civilization in history. All that disequilibrium you felt, all the disorder, all the craziness that is going on right now is part of this transformation. What he says is we've reached the rupture point. He has a rupture point here, and the space, the actual space, our opportunity space for humanity now is expanded. We have a window. We have a window here. We can actually converge all of our technologies, all of our information, all of our humanity to transform our system into something that we actually want, something that we're proud of, something that takes humans into account. He calls it the age of freedom. He says it will either break up to an amazing new reality or it will fall into another dark ages. There will not be a continuation. We will not go back. It is not going back. It is only forward at this point. And you can feel it, right? We can't go back. As lied to as we've been, as compromised as we've been, now that we have the bigger picture, humanity has opened our eyes. We're past the rupture point. Extraction age system is in disequilibrium, what he calls the extraction age. We take all the resources from the environment, from the humans, because we're in a resource limited environment. But now we're experiencing amazing new possibilities. The collapse of legacy industries and legacy industrial order. The collapse of legacy industrial order. That's what we're seeing. The collapse of the nation state, the military industrial complex has served its purpose and is done. We do not want it anymore. The incumbent view of the future or even the present is just a mirage. So this idea where they just extrapolate in a straight line never happens. It doesn't happen, and it is not going to happen. There's going to be extreme change in the near future. And personally, I see this as an amazing opportunity. Yes, there's amazing risk. There's always been amazing risk. We've always had nuclear weapons pointed at us, right? Our whole lives, nuclear weapons pointed at us. Our whole lives, we've been forced to go to school. I remember sitting in school and wondering, why do I have to be here? Okay. Think back 1,000 years. Do you think humans of 10,000 years ago out in the wild, proud humans in their natural state would send their kids off to be trained by the system, the industrial system? No, they were with them. They'd spend time with their families, teach them their trade craft, teach them how to live, how to be humans, teach them their spiritual messages. Now it's all been outsourced to the system, and we're not happy with it, are we? What we realize is the system actually needed us more than we need the system. We've been forced into the system, but now there is a new experience. There's a new possibility. You can see it. You can see it clearly. You can clearly see it. We are emerging. There's a new form I think it could be even a new form of life emerging on this planet. It's going to be powered by artificial intelligence. That's going to be its processing. Memory is going to be powered by the blockchain. If you look at my blockchain claims, they've been correct. I have been correct. You go back 2.5 years on my channel, I recommended one of the first videos I made on this channel was buying Ethereum. It's since gone up. It's now at over $2,000. Blockchain is not going away, despite what you guys think it will. And the energy requirements are nothing. We can burn that energy for heat. We can literally run those computers for heat and power the Bitcoin network. Why is blockchain so important? It's the first time in human history, human civilization, that humans, you and me, have the same cryptological advantages as the nation states. And now what we're learning in the information age is that now we have the same information, if not more, than the nation states. They're so worried about national security, compartmentalizing, keeping their legacy order in fashion, right? Think about that. President Biden, for the EV summit, he didn't invite Tesla. He didn't invite Tesla. Why? Because they don't have a union. The future of America or unions? That's what we're deciding. And by the way, I don't want your job. I don't want a job from the state. Nobody wants more jobs. How about you provide benefits to the humans? We give the tax dollars, benefits to us. How about transparency? How come the NSA still has received no retribution when it stole all of our information? How come the governments get to have all of our information? And when we ask, hey, what are you guys doing with all these technologies? Is there UAP technology? It sure sounds like there is UAP technology. What happens? We get nothing back, nothing. And they expect this to continue into the future. They really think that this is going to continue into the future. Biggest problem with that, and I'll mention it here, and I'll make a video about it later, is in 2010, the Supreme Court, in a 5-4 ruling, totally screwed us humans, particularly American humans, totally screwed us. And it gave the First Amendment right. Did you know this? It gave the First Amendment right to corporations, to lobbyists. They literally said, the Supreme Court said in the Citizens case that corporations have First Amendment rights. What does that mean? You and I probably don't. We probably don't have First Amendment rights because the corporations have more power and they can give the money straight to the government. What will happen in the future if we don't stand up now? Look at it this way. If we don't stand up now for humans into the new global system, they will write us out of the equation. Think about it. Corporations are already giving money direct to the political entities, okay? People are down here. What happens when the corporations and political entities don't need humans anymore? What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, so this is a critical time, everyone. This really is a critical time, but it's also amazingly exciting because you can see the utopia. We can literally, in 15 to 20 years, in our generation, create a utopia on this planet. You and me can literally create a utopia for our children, for the future of humans. We can change all the things that are wrong because we can see them now. And with artificial intelligence, we can actually rely on their processing, take the humans out of the loop. We can make our governments transparent, open, run by the smartest AIs. We don't need nation states now. We don't need resources. We will not be in a resource-limited world. What happens now when everything's free? Tony Seba says that we can give the American dream, basically the lifestyle of every American, for less than $250 to everyone on this planet. With populations going down, with precision fermentation, we can get back more land than the US, China, and Australia combined. We will get this back. All we have to do is not screw with it. If we can just let it be natural, it will come back and we'll have a beautiful planet for our kids. This is the first time I've ever been optimistic, I think, in my life to see the system is surely breaking. Okay, we are going to reach a new system state. The global system is surely falling. The legacy systems are clamping down. Look at the US government on UAP secrecy. It is just clamping down more. And as they clamp down more, they will just squeeze out more information from the tube. Basically, there's no going back. This idea that we're going to go back to a previous legacy system where we have to put up with all the BS, all the lying, all the cheating, all the stealing from the government systems that are just focused on their own survival. Okay, we don't need the nation states. Every one of us came from humans. We're all humans. Okay, you want to cut yourselves out into little tribes, great. But at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all came from the same stock, hopefully. Aren't we more human than different nation states? And by the way, I've lived in many different countries. You know what exactly they think in the other countries? They think exactly what you think. Exactly the same. They're worried about their security. They're worried about the future of their country. They're worried about their kids. They're worried about the enemy. It's exactly the same. I've lived in Turkey. All of the news, you could just remove the word Israel and put in Palestine, and it's exactly the same. It's completely reversed. So the world order is definitely falling. It's going to fall very fast. It's going to fall in an S curve. What is going to come up in its place? It can be a peaceful system dedicated to the planet, dedicated to humans. And then potentially then the UAPs could show themselves. They could show themselves. For all we know, they could be behind it. I wouldn't be surprised if UAPs are behind this whole transition. I wouldn't be surprised. And finally, I said, if you wait until the end, very end of this video, I would explain how this relates. What is my speculation on the NHI, the phenomenon? Okay. It comes down to precision fermentation. I've talked about precision fermentation. What we've done is we've essentially genetically altered the microbe level, right? When we perfect precision fermentation, we are perfecting control of the microscopic world, aren't we? Before, like I mentioned, we used the cow. We enslaved our dimension of beings, animals, right? But really the microbes, the molecules, the things we didn't know about when we enslaved the cow, right? Things we've learned about since, the microscopic life. That stuff in the cow's stomach is actually what we need. So now we have moved that. We've skipped a few dimensions of life and we've gone right to the microbe level. And now we can orient it, genetically engineer these microbes, right? And we put in the right environment, right systems in this big vats. And what does that do? To produce what we want. It produces the output that we want, and you can tune it. It's actually software. He says it's software programmable tuning, where we can type in actually the molecules that you want and get whatever molecule we want. Okay, so again, speculation. We talked about different dimensions of beings. We've looked at JWST. If you look out into the cosmos, what I believe we are seeing is macroscopic life. We are seeing the greater universe around us. Just as you look down into a microscope, you're looking at microscopic life. I believe when we're looking up, it is macroscopic life. This is what we're going to prove. This is the blow through, right? Is that we are actually surrounded by macroscopic life. There is microscopic life. We were blown away. People didn't believe it for years. People still think you get sick by getting wet. It's actually small, tiny life at the unbelievably small, new dimensional level. JWST is now seeing all of these things. We're actually finding biological molecules all over the universe. In all of these gases and dust that we call, our cosmologists call gases and dust, the cosmologists have no clue what they are looking at. They have no clue what they're looking at. And it shows. We've had the same ridiculous models and theories for the last 40 years. And the whole Big Bang theory is also bullshit. They're going to find out right now. We're finding out the Big Bang is also BS. How do you have full-size galaxies bigger than the Milky Way before 200 million years? You can't. You can't. Not if it just started at a Big Bang. I also find the expansion of the universe is going to be shown to be incorrect. Okay, I digress. The point is, when we look up, we're looking at macroscopic life. Mark my words. This is why I make these videos, so I can go back in time in history and say, I told you so. What we're looking at is macroscopic life. Now, imagine that same analogy. Macroscopic life now has control over the lower dimensions. It can establish genetically engineered molecules on planets, per se. Now it provides the right environment, the right ecosystem for whatever sort of fermentation it needs. Whatever fermentation the larger organism, the greater universe actually needs, could be organized from a higher dimension. This is why we have limited contact with it. This is why we can't understand the interactions. This is why the beings that we're interacting with are sometimes dead even, not even alive. They're androids. Why? Because it is from a higher dimension actually imposing its will, if you will, on our lower dimension to get some sort of benefit. Personally, I believe is creating this super intelligence. It's just amazing. Amazing time we live in. I couldn't imagine a more exciting time. And Richard Dolan said he thinks that could be why they are here, why the UAP actually are here. To watch us, to observe, to help. But I will say I've never been more optimistic, and I've never been more concerned that I have to get even more involved. You know, I didn't want to actually make a YouTube channel. I just wanted to leave. I left the US because I was so frustrated with the political system. I mean, look at our political system now. You're literally given 80-year-olds. Our two options are over 75. These are your two options. Really? These are your champions. Okay, when JFK was killed, he was 46. Like, he was my age. Okay, that's what you want. Someone that can actually relate to the lower generations. It's not just from the ossified legacy system. Finally, we're seeing some outside candidates. RFK Jr., the CIA killed his uncle, killed his father.
After carefully examining the region, me and my cabinet agree that that area is definitely ripe for regime change.
All right.
But if I can be real about it.
Be real, son.
Real?
Be real, son.
Try to kill my father, man.
What?
And play that.
Say word, they tried to kill your father, son.
That nigga tried to kill my father!
Word to everything we love, we coming to see y'all, son.
He literally spent 9 years as an environmental lawyer fighting against Monsanto. He supports Bitcoin. He's against our forever wars. I mean, that's amazing. I honestly never thought I'd see a candidate like RFK Jr., and he is an independent. So I don't like the Democrats. I don't like the Republicans. I've gotten heat from my last articles against the Republican attack against the UAP Disclosure Act. But they're both from the legacy systems. They are both the military-industrial complex. That's why you get no benefit from either one. And all they have to do is yell at the other ones because they're both doing ridiculously stupid, evil shit. But things are going to change, and they're going to change fast, and they are going to change. There's no going back. The question is, will it have to come to a stupid nuclear war? Because that is what happens in the past. If you look at political science theory, hegemon theory, what happens when the hegemon, the world hegemon, declines and is overpassed by a new hegemon? This is the most dangerous time. And I can't believe we're going through it right now, but I guess it has to be, because you have to have a destabilizing system in order to have that transformation. The question is, can we do it through smartness and logic and reasoning, or are we going to have to transform through a giant nuclear event or some terrible mass-wide event? What will it take for people to open their eyes and see that it's happening and the future is clearer and better? Again, if an F-150 truck can tow a sports car faster than a sports car can go, obviously things are changing. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I really think this could be my most important video and the reason I started creating in the first place. Please hit the like button and share this video. And if you want exclusive content, backstage info, support the channel at patreon.com/Chris Lato, or you can sign up now here as a YouTube member. I put exclusive content there, at least one video a month, as well as additional content. Answer your comments first. Finally, you can get merch. UAP Society and Lato Files merch is in the description. All of those links. Go to UAP Society Discord. We just did a contest to try and find more information. Thanks to all you guys. Couldn't do it without you. Have a great day. Peace.